Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome again for another series of the LaSalle Sustainability Lectures. And today we'll have an exciting topic that we would discuss, which is entitled Climate Smart Agriculture Information Sources and Dissemination Pathways Used by Smallholders Farmers in the province of Batangas. I am Ari Sobando. I'll be your host for this morning or for today's event. Together with me is Dr. Ria Sumagang as the co-host of this event. And before we even start our lecture series, let's start this with a brief prayer.
Let me be the change I want to see, to do with strength and wisdom all that needs to be done, and become the hope that I can be. Set me free from my fears and hesitation. Granting courage and humility. Fill me with spirit to face the challenge and start the change I long to see. Today I start the change I want to see. Even if I'm not the light, I can be the spark in faith, service, and communion. Let us start the change we want to see, the change that begins in me. Today I start the change I want to see.
Even if I'm not the light,
I can be the spark. Faith, service, and communion. Let us start the change we want to see, the change that begins in me.
Jesus in us.
Jesus in us.
Thank you very much, Ria. Again, good day to everyone. Welcome again to the LaSalle Sustainability Lectures series. And for today, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our participants here in the Philippines, as well as our participants across the globe. We have Brother Joe Scheiter. Good evening, brother, or good morning. We have also Ileana Del Carmen Martinez Sanchez. So good day to you, ma'am. We also have our Chancellor Emeritus, Carmelita Quebenco. Good morning, ma'am. And now to provide a bit of a background of the LaSalle Sustainability Lectures, we have the Vice President for Research and Innovation of De La Salle University, Manila, Philippines. Let's all welcome Dr. Raymond.
Good day, everyone. I'm Professor Raymond Tan. I'm the Vice President for Research and Innovation of De La Salle University in Manila, Philippines. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of the 2024 Sustainability Lecture Series. De La Salle University is a member of a network of Lasallian higher education institutions known as IALU. IALU has member institutions in 5 different continents: the Americas, Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and Eastern Asia. De La Salle University is a private, comprehensive Catholic university initially founded as De La Salle College in 1911. We are now 1 year removed from our Golden Jubilee as a university and have seen extensive growth in research productivity over the past 50 years. We are ranked first among Philippine institutions in terms of research output in this decade to date. We are the most heavily funded private institution in the country and have seen a 7-fold increase in research output over the past 10 years. As a result, we are ranked by the Times Higher Education World University Rankings of research-intensive institutions, and are also top ranked in the following subject areas: physical sciences, social sciences, engineering, computer science, business and economics, education, and arts and humanities. The Sustainability Lecture Series is inspired by 2 documents that were published in 2015. Number 1, intended for the Catholic world, was Pope Francis's Laudato Si encyclical. Number 2 were the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, intended for the secular world. But what is interesting to note is that these 2 documents have a strong intersection in seeking sustainable development for the entire planet. And these provide the basis for the series of lectures that we've held since 2021. The Sustainability Lecture Series is organized by a core group, initially consisting of Professor Dr. Kathleen Aviso, the current Dean of the Gokong Wei College of Engineering, Dr. Carmelita Quebenco, the former President and current Chancellor Emeritus of De La Salle University, Professor Dr. Alvin Colaba, the Director of the Center for Engineering and Sustainable Development Research, which is the organizational host of this lecture series. And we were joined last year with the support of Professor Dr. Aristotle Obando, current Assistant Dean for Research, and former PhD student, Dr. Maria Victoria Migo Sumaga, and of course, yours truly. Since January 2021, we've dealt with diverse topics in sustainable development, holding lectures online on various topics at the last Wednesday of each month. The lectures have been recorded for the most part and are available in a dedicated YouTube channel. The lectures have been viewed thousands of times by different viewers asynchronously, in addition to the live audience that we normally have. And of course, the resource persons are drawn from the global IALU network, and we've had speakers from different continents talking about global and local concerns. As we begin a new year, we look at what lies ahead. And first and foremost, we've decided to partner with a newly formed University Sustainability Office at DLSU, which will provide logistical support when we look at new issues, when we consider new formats, including hybrid lectures with a live audience inside the university. So these are what are in store for us in the coming year. Thank you and good day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tan, for the introduction of the LaSalle Sustainability Lectures. And it was mentioned, Dr. Tan, that next year, De La Salle University would be celebrating the 50th anniversary. And we're very looking forward to that event. And we are also grateful to have you today in this lecture series. And to go now to our main event, for today. Our lecture is entitled Climate Smart Agriculture Information Sources and Dissemination Pathways Used by Smallholders Farmers in the Province of Batangas. And our speaker today is Dr. Annalisa D. Resurrection, who is an associate professor of communication and media studies in the Research Development and Linkages Officer of the De La Salle LIPA. Her main research interest centers on communication scholarship as an agent of innovation in building sustainable futures. She received her AB in Mass Communication, cum laude, and Sotero H. Laurel Academic Excellence Awardee from the Lyceum of the Philippines University in Batangas. Her MA in teaching major in English language, also received her PhD in the Philippine Studies with specialization in language, culture, Dr. Resurrection was a recipient of the Department of Trade and Industry Competitiveness Bureau Research Grant back in 2020. She also received the De La Salle Philippines Laudato Si Grant for creative work in 2018, and also a recipient of the CHED DLSU Grant for Research Leadership Training Program back in 2018. She has received numerous DLSL research grants from 2012 to 2023. She co-founded the SINAYA, a pioneer and flagship research journal for the senior high school teachers and students of the Philippines, jointly managed by the De La Salle University and De La Salle Santiago Sobel, as well as in Batangas. Let us all welcome our speaker for this morning, Dr. Annalisa D. Resurrection.
Good morning, everyone, and a happy Wednesday. Dr. Aris, I just would like to check if my audio is clear.
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Dr. Anna.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Aris. Allow me to share the slides that I have prepared. I assume the slides or the slide is projecting, Dr. Aris.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. So good morning again from Lipa City in Batangas. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers of the DLSU IALU Sustainability Lecture Series for the invitation and, of course, for this learning opportunity. I hope everybody in the Zoom room will be able to learn something from the inputs that I'm going to share this morning. So I had the project titled CSA, Information Sources and Dissemination Pathways, used by our smallholder farmers in the province of Batangas. What is the project inspiration? So back in 2022, April to be exact, while I am completing this crop switching as a climate change adaptation strategy in the only coastal barangay in the city of Lipa, the Barangay Halang. So I had this opportunity to converse with 20-year-old crop farmers in the said barangay, which is actually composed of 6 puroks, and then they have this upland and then this lowland area. In the frame in this slide, I am with Professor Yum Demeterio of the College of Liberal Arts. He actually served as the cartographer for the project since that time I need various hazard maps and then some geographical maps of the location of the study. And in my entirety, in the entirety of my stay in the said barangay, I was able to hear various narratives from the farmers, and from these narratives of our farmers, the alarming effects of climate change were not sufficiently communicated to them. Thus, the dearth of information on issues like food insecurity that we're about to face come 2030, issues on sustainable practices, there is a dearth of information relative to those. According to the farmers, they're having idea on those issues through researchers and young scholars like me who are actually visiting their place and then giving them the opportunity to share their experiences in their barangay. Okay, so this narratives prompted me to determine if the same narrative is actually heard from the farmers in other municipalities in the province of Batangas. This current study actually focused on the two subsectors of agriculture, crop farming, and of course, livestock farming. So what are the research problems that I brave? So basically, the project intends to discover the information sources and then dissemination pathways that are actually used by smallholder farmers to enhance adoption of climate-smart agriculture technologies and practices. In addition, this study intends to know the practices of the smallholder farmers that they are actually adapting, the factors that hinder them from adapting climate-smart agriculture practices and technologies, and then the institutions that enhance adoption of CSA practices. This study was actually built on Nashimi et al. 2017, which actually divulges that adoption and diffusion of climate resilient agriculture technologies will increase rapidly as smallholder farmers experience the effects of climate change. That because of a number of reasons, such as uncertainty, costs and benefits related to agricultural technologies, gender equality, social capital, sociocultural practices, high cost of labor, market access and credit, amongst others, the adoption of agricultural technology is difficult. That the decision of farmers to adopt new agricultural technologies is greatly influenced by learning through visits to farms, interactions with farmers, and informal social networks. That when and how information is disseminated will be determined by the relationships between farmers, as well as whether or not are adopted. As regards the study area, so it zeroed in on 3 municipalities wherein the major sources of income of the households are the two subsectors of agriculture, so crop farming and livestock farming. On livestock, I've just zeroed in on swine and poultry farming. So the first area is the municipality of Cuenca. It is actually a landlocked municipality located in the southern province of Batangas. The municipality actually represents 1.87% of the province territory, and its population represents 1.25 share of the overall provincial population in Batangas, equivalent to 0.22 for the entire Calabarzon. In the 2000 profile of the said municipality, agriculture or agricultural sector's resilience to climate rather is not in any way efficient. The second municipality that serves as the locale of the said study is the municipality of Ibaan, which is actually an isolated municipality. Ibaan represents 2.11% of Batangas' entire territory. Its population constitutes 2.1% of the total number of inhabitants in Batangas province, and it accounts to 0.36 for the whole Calabarzon region. In the same way, based on the 2023 resiliency profile of Ibaan, agricultural sector's resilience to climate change is not in any way evident. The third municipality which serves as the locale of the study is the municipality of San Jose. Okay, San Jose is an inland municipality and it accounts for 1.71% of all hectares under the province jurisdiction. Its population accounts for the 2.75% in the entire province, or 0.49 for the Calabarzon region. In the same way, based on the 2023 resiliency profile of the said municipality, agricultural sector's resilience to climate is not in any way evident. So what are the major findings of the study? So basically, we've conducted, I've conducted key informant interviews, and then to facilitate or to maximize the key informant interviews, I've used cobweb mapping, wherein the key informants, after identifying the different information sources, they rank these sources that they have identified according to the importance of each of those as regards their farming practices. So, okay. Our farmers are actually integrating traditional and scientific weather forecasts and packaging them in a user-friendly way. So they have its importance, or they have its importance of the aforementioned practices during the interviews. To be more effective for them, the weather forecast information, both in news and scientific forecasts, they reiterated that it should be timely and complemented with agri-advisories. So some specific actions which could improve the use of these practices by farmers have been perennially suggested through conventions and various information sources. Nevertheless, the timeliness of access to weather information in the language that the smallholder farmers understand remains weak. Meanwhile, capacity building, mostly offered by private companies, continuously emerge and become part of the smallholder farmers' agile approach, source of motivation to act, and sustain a demand for government support. As what was shared by one of the informants, allow me to read aloud the translated snippet from the narrative. The informant divulges that the Department of Agriculture are the ones who guide us every time there is a bazaar or seminar that we can attend. Currently, we are one benefiting from their technology and business incubation. One problem is that we can't get the full health package since we aren't part of an association. The mandate of the Department of Agriculture is to help establish associations. They actually shed millions for a farmer association. For example, in the municipality of San Jose, also in the Batangas province, a farmer association was awarded a tractor and another snippet from the narrative of one of the informants. It is a big help that you can talk to veterinarians who are also the ones who market the medicine. They will offer you, explain to you the benefits. The feed mills sponsored seminars are also helpful. The feed mills offer in-service training for their customers. I think they offer seminars once a month. This was when there was no virus yet, when there was no pandemic, where we have this face-to-face meeting. They send invitations, so from there you get an idea. Another snippet from one of our informants. The government only became active during the onset of AI. It started hitting farmers and they were afraid of what happened in other regions as there's really depletion in supplies of eggs. So when the first wave of avian influenza around 2018 or 2019, everyone was a little scared. It was only when the government conducted information dissemination, advocating biosecurity measures, implementing lockdowns, and others. Another important finding was that small CSA practices depend on several factors. The availability and access to resources necessary for the application of practices such as land, labor, or financial capital are a key factor. Other factors include the potential for benefits to be derived from other practices and whether or not they have the necessary skills and information in order to make use of them. It is also necessary to be able to deal with problems that may arise during or after the application of these methods, as well as their compatibility with local, social, and cultural practices. The investment costs for farmers are very high and thus hindering them to adopt biogas technology, which uses energy sources without depleting natural resources and is environmentally friendly as possible. Another important finding, understanding the particular challenges associated with climate change remains the key step towards embracing the significance of climate smart agriculture practices and technologies, which will eventually lead to resilience development. Smallholder farmers can relate to each other on the basis of thanks to the large and diverse range of views on the impacts of climate change, adaptation strategies, available resources, and hopes for the future. That to facilitate a successful future they aim for, they value the opportunity to have their voices heard. As for the conclusions and recommendations, so in both periods and in the longer term, our smallholder farmers in the province remain resilient or reliant rather on traditional sources as well as their local knowledge in particular for predicting weather extremes and early rains. Private consultants and veterinarians are vital sources of information on pest disease outbreaks projection. So on this table, the information sources used by our farmers in receiving climate smart agriculture information. So just to read aloud the content of the summary or table summary. So we have information in the case of the crop farmer, so soils laboratory, agribusiness and marketing assistance service, private consultants, benchmarking with other farm owners. TV shows on agriculture are likewise helpful for them. The information and best practices sharing with other farmers during agriculture conventions, is also considered beneficial. Meanwhile, in the case of our livestock farmers, so what are the information sources which are evident? So this include private consultants or the information from the private consultants. So agriculture conventions are likewise beneficial. They are likewise consulting with veterinarians, private companies. Feed mills are offering them help and providing them information also. While in the case of our poultry farmer, so the various sources of information include TV shows on agriculture, agriculture convention, the information fed by the veterinarians, information courtesy of the private companies, feed mills, seminars which are sponsored by the feed mills, providing them feeds for their for them, and of course the DOST social media pages, radio shows about agriculture, information sharing with other farmers via mobile communication. Okay, so in addition, the identification of dissemination routes entails consideration of the horizontal and vertically oriented paths. Horizontally, so peer-to-peer contacts, conversation, word of mouth, farmers meeting are included. On the other hand, vertical pertains to both upwards and downwards amongst farmers, extension providers, researcher to farmer, and the use of radios or cellular phones. Furthermore, the skills and needs of farmers, as well as the resources available for obtaining information and using it, have a bearing on which dissemination route is used. And in spite of the increased interaction, exchange, and information sharing among farmers as regards CSA practices, access to new CSA practice is still hindered by a persistent lack of links with agro-advisory service providers. Farmers' discussions revealed that there is still a lack of information flows to farmers, and the links between extension agents and farmers are insufficient by exploring other ways for farmers to obtain reliable information about CSA practices and technologies. So as for our recommendation, our smallholder farmers need to be provided with information and communication on risk management in order to identify and disseminate information about risks of weather variability that can lead to volatility in yields and prices. Organizations providing agronomic advice should be involved. It is essential to have access in order to take the necessary risks mitigation measures to climate adaptation, mitigation, and risk management information. Furthermore, a good start conditions for management tools such as climate information, agronomic practices, and training may be facilitated by providing a risk package each season to administration, private industry, NGOs, or community organizations that are agriculturally linked and operated in the province of Batangas. In addition, admittedly facing unprecedented stress when attempting to increase productivity due to glaring realities of climate variability and change. An introduction of a learning journey will allow our farmers to discover new sustainable and climate resilient agricultural practices that inspire, motivate, and encourage change. This program, I believe, will enable them to visit areas already experiencing their future climatic conditions, provide them an opportunity to learn from other farmers, and let them see firsthand the allowing them to improve their adaptation. Thank you everyone for listening to my sharing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anna, and also for providing insight in a community-based, or should I say, farmer-centered research in Batangas. Also, uh, sir, allow me to transfer the floor to Dr. Ria Sumagang, who would facilitate the question and answer portion.
Thank you, Dr. Anna, for that very informative talk. First, you walked us through the findings of your projects, and you also shared the sentiments of the farmers. We also learned the importance of the different sources of information, like the Department of Agriculture, the veterinarians, the feed mills, and also the modes of info dissemination, like the horizontal, peer-to-peer, and the vertical. And you also shared your recommendations. So that was a very informative session. Thank you very much. So now we move on to the Q&A, and we would like to invite everyone um, to type in your question in the chat box. In fact, we already have 3 questions. Let me read them aloud. First is from Denise and Marie Suarez. Hi, as you mentioned, the farmers acquired climate information from DA. What can be the role of extension services of universities and local governments, like the municipal agriculturists, to supplement the role of the DA?
Okay, so firstly, good morning, Miss Denise. Okay. As what I've disseminated, as what I have reiterated in one of the findings of the study, one of the evident barrier or hindrance, the reason why our farmers are experiencing this dearth in information is the language being used by our government agencies in communicating information about CSA practices. So basically, they cannot understand the jargons and some technical terminologies being used. The reason why they keep on murmuring, as they say, every time they are attending sessions, and then they keep on asking each other what was said, how this should be done. So relative to that, perhaps our agriculture extension workers should do extra effort and then make use of other communication media to communicate the message really. They may use aids like poster, uh, idea flows, concept maps, use the simple terms as possible if they can use the the Filipino language in communicating so that our farmers can understand. Uh, that for me is a very good step. On the side of the universities or our academicians, perhaps they in a way should strengthen the linkage between farmer associations and their extension offices so that given the basic information provided by our DA officers, they can expound on it, explain in detail to our farmers in simple terms with the aid of various media. I think that issue on language barrier could be resolved. In addition, another factor or issue that our farmers brought up, the agriculture extension workers are not that evident in their areas. As what I have mentioned, so they just feel the presence of the extension workers, say in the case of the poultry farmers during the existence of the avian influenza virus, kasi they have this fear that the virus would spread in the entirety of the province, so it would actually lead to a very bad impression on how the province is actually dealing the AI presence in Batangas area. So yeah, one of the reiterations that they actually request, if I may have the opportunity to sit with the DA Extension Service Unit, is to actually relay their clamor for a simpler way of explaining the how-tos, the what-tos, and then the whys relative to the phenomenon that we are experiencing. I hope that suffice. I mean, the responses suffice the Chinese.
Thank you, Doc Anna, for that very meaty answer. I agree with you that infographics will greatly help, I think, in my opinion, and also the presence, the constant or inconsistent presence of the extension workers. So let's move on to the next question. Yes.
Miss Ria, thank you. I just remember in De La Salipa, for example, we have this major course, social and behavioral change communication. I'm sure in other universities they have the same course, or perhaps same content but with different nomenclature, wherein the students are actually tasked as their major output in the course to draft a comprehensive plan on how they can communicate government projects relative to SDGs to people in the communities or people in the rural areas. I think the universities or some HEIs like De La Salipa could maximize the project output of the students via the social and behavioral change communication course. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc Anna. Let's move to the question in the chat box from Professor Raymond Tan. Was there interest or willingness to switch to new crops to adapt to future climate change? For example, non-traditional coffee varieties, etc.
Thank you for the question, Professor Tan. The interest is there, specifically from these farmers who are actually loving and embracing farming for the last 20 years. But according to them, in as much as they would want to, they have families to provide food every day. They have bills to pay. So they cannot actually dictate the members of the household to, okay, no to embracing call center as your source of income, love farming, go back to our place, learn farming from me. It wasn't an option. Unfortunately, it's sad to say, it wasn't an option because there is no available market which would actually purchase the produce. Willingness is there, the interest, they exude enthusiasm. But again, at the end of the day, the question is there a market ready to purchase the produce? LGUs, every election period, they have promises. We're going to give you this and those. We're going to help you this and those. But after the election period, according to our informants, it seems that promises were not made because there is no follow-up visit. The same people who actually gave the promises are not in any way evident after the election period. So they have no choice. So they let the members of the household, okay, go to the urban, go to Lipas City, go to Santa Rosa in Laguna, and then do factory work kasi our family need food. Our family need extra income to pay the bills. So that's the sad reality that we hope with the public presentation we did in one of the regular sessions of the LGU in our city, Lipa City, we hope our office, they're gonna do something, and or some LGU officials would strengthen their campaigns in order to help farmers. Actually, just an update, just this week, I have learned that the LGU is initiating this. I cannot recall the title of the program, but they are helping out the farmers to they provide short-lived crop variety seed, and then they're identifying agricultural areas in the different barangays. We actually have 72 barangays in Lipa City. We have 4 districts. They are helping those who are interested. They're giving short-lived crop varieties, and then they are monitoring on whether or not the farmers who express the interest are actually sustaining their activity of planting, harvesting, and then identifying potential market. Lastly, another good news, in the recent public presentation we did in one of the sessions of the LGUs, our beloved mayor announced that in this 94 or 96 hectare project which is being developed in our city, 2 hectare will be allotted for an agriculture or food trading capital. So it would in a way help the farmers so that the issue on middlemen will be resolved. The produce of our farmers will be brought directly to the trading capital with the help of the LGU vehicle. And then it would spell extra additional income for them. No more middlemen. There is already a sure market which would actually purchase the produce of our smallholder farmers. And that for me, in a way, is a very good news. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc Anna. I really appreciate this session because it's also eye-opening. Like we cannot expect the farmers to just shift to other varieties of seeds, but because we also have to think about the market, whether they can really sell the climate change resistant varieties. Next, we move on to another question from Professor Emeritus Carmelita Quebenco. Thank you, Dr. Anna, for your presentation that is most relevant to both the farmers and government offices concerned. My question, have you shared the findings of your study with the Department of Agriculture and the local government units concerned to serve as inputs toward the improvement of their services to help small farmers? Doc Anna, you're on
Okay,
mute.
my bad.
Okay.
My bad. Miss Ria, may you reread?
Okay.
Uh,
All right. So the question is, have you shared the findings of your study with the DA and the local government units concerned to serve as inputs toward the improvement of their services to help small farmers?
yeah. Firstly, happy Wednesday, Dr. Kibenko. Thank you for the question. Um, as one of the best practices of our Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation, Research Management Office in De La Salipa, in every completed internally funded project, we do have like public presentation. So it's actually part of the completion of the project. After days, weeks, or month of completion, we internally funded researchers are actually driven to identify stakeholders, and then we ought to share our output initially with them. In the case of my 3 consecutive projects on crops, climate change, and CSA practices, I'm actually in constant coordination with the Lipa City councilor, who is actually heading the agriculture committee in the city, and the inputs through this project will be shared with them, together with our city agriculturists, Dr. Kibenko.
Thank you, Doc Anna. Next, we have another question in the Q&A box again from Denise and Marie Suarez. How does the local climate change action plan of the local governments factor in the CSA knowledge and application of farmers?
Okay, again, there is a plan. When I visited DA Calabarzon, April second quarter last year, so I actually asked the same question, almost the same question. There is really a plan, a very charming plan actually. But again, the issue is actually on the communication or on the cascading of the plan. And also the various practices that the farmers may actually execute or embrace in order for them to really or fully practice or exercise CSA. But again, there is a barrier. They do not understand really the why, the what, and the how. What I am seeing as I've deconstructed the entirety of the process, I see that the language is really the barrier or the terminology is being used. Since when I ask the farmers to validate on whether or not the understanding is really 100%. So the understanding really is actually not meeting the expected at least 75%, I think. Their understanding is quite different with the way it was written, with the way it was plotted. So again, as I see it, the problem really is on the terms used, the language used, and then the way the information is being cascaded. So as a communicator myself, perhaps the use of various visual images, the use of the simple terminologies, and the use of the Filipino.
Mm,
Syempre, in Batangas, we use the Tagalog Batangas in order for the farmers to really understand the whys, the what, and the hows relative to CSA practices and local adaptation plan, crop switching, climate change.
mhm,
So yeah.
mm. Thank you, Doc Anna. I think the last question is related to the one that in your one of your answers earlier. But if you still have any inputs, let's read the question. Do you think farmers are open to changing crops? That is, example, planting more climate resilience crops due to the different climate scenarios, or are they resistant to change?
Okay, so let us reiterate on that. Again, the willingness is there. When I explain to them the short-lived crops, and then when I mentioned to them the intercropping, which is being practiced already in one of the adopted agricultural municipality in Batangas City, intercropping, they are very much interested. But again, there is, and we cannot blame that. Hesitations are always inevitable if you are really introducing a new idea or a new concept, a new program, specifically to farmers who are, again, at the end of the day, they have bills to pay, they have families to feed. It only takes a single person, perhaps. It only takes a single researcher, a single HEI to help them throughout the journey. Because for me, researchers like yours truly, HEI like Nela Salipa, if they are very much committed and seryoso, and they are in constant coordination with the LGUs, with the head of the agricultural committee, I think little by little, we can actually overcome this issue that is being faced by our smallholder farmers. I have a new proposal. I hope NRCP will find the merit of it. It's on dialogic communication. It's like let's hear from the side of the agriculture extension workers, and let's try to validate the claim and then the clamor of our farmers. I want to really ask our extension workers, are you really not uh, evident in our rural areas? Since from our farmers, you are just allowing yourself be visible during the time of crisis. So what's really the plan? Uh, may we have the juxtaposition of the plan? Because I want to know, as a researcher concerned with the future of our small farmers in the province. So yeah, I think by the end of 2024, I will be able to complete the project, and I hope I can provide an update hearing the side of the agricultural extension workers through another session of the IALO lecture series. So
That's we look forward to the follow-up session. By the way, I hope your NRCP proposal will be approved, Doc Anna. So let's read some of the comments in the chat box. We hope, from Dr. Aris, we hope that we can replicate this approach with other regions of the Philippines, especially for the Fire Islands. And then for Professor Kabenko, thank you, Dr. Anna. I hope your findings and recommendations will not just be disseminated, but actually put to good use by the DA and LGUs concerned. This also serves as an indicator of the impact of the research that you have done. I guess we can end the Q&A session for now. There are no more questions. I we have a final question. Where could we find a copy of your study? Thank you.
okay, I have just completed the study actually last January. I'll be uploading copy via my humble ResearchGate Google Scholar account so that everyone interested may have a chance to read the important findings of the study.
Okay, so it will be available via ResearchGate, Doc Anna. ResearchGate. Okay, thank you so much. Um, and then we have another comment. It's from Ismael Rubis. Doc Ann, it's a very good proposal for NRCP. Hoping we can collaborate with that research for the indigenous communities in Misamis Occidental, the Subanen farmers. Okay. Thank you so much for the questions from the audience. Uh, we receive a feedback through the Google form that the audience is requesting for longer Q&A session, and I think this Q&A session is very productive. We had, I think, more than 30 minutes of Q&A. So thank you so much, Doc Anna, for answering all of the questions. All right. Um, so, before we end, we would like to invite everyone to answer the feedback form. Let me share this. So please answer the feedback form so we would know how to improve the conduct of the sustainability lecture uh, better next time. Thank you so much to our audience and to Doc Anna. Back to you, Doc Aris.
So again, thank you, Ria, and thank you very much, Dr. Anna, for your very insightful presentation. So, may I invite everyone to let's give a virtual a round of applause for Dr. Anna. Okay. So, now, as shown in the slide, we would appreciate your feedback for us to further improve how we deliver the LaSalle Sustainability Lecture. And for our next session, to have an somehow a hybrid event. So we'll inform you as soon as we finalize everything through email. And thank you so much for joining us today for this lecture. And we hope to see you by next month to another lecture series. So thank you so much and see you again. Bye for now. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Dr.
Bye.
Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you next
Thank
time.
you. Thank you, Doc Anna. Very interesting.
Congrats.
Thank you,
Congrats.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be closing the session now. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day. Bye bye.